Finance Minister, at last year's budget, I was on Anjana's show and we discussed, a point came up, हमारे बैंकों का हाल क्या है? I am asking you this question, Finance Minister, because over the last few months it has become quite clear that the PSU banking pack, which was sometimes called the sick man of our financial system, is now very robust. We have seen that reflect in stock prices also and also credit. The question to you, ma'am, हमारे बैंकों का, सरकारी बैंकों का खासकर क्या हाल है आज?
आजकल मंत्री, वित्त मंत्री जी बोलते नहीं है, उसके ऊपर पेपर में आ जाता है 3 दिन पहले ही। स्टेट बैंक का प्रॉफिट Q4, Q3, they have announced it already. Public sector bank every year in the last 2 years is showing how NPAs are coming down and their profitability is going up. So I don't need to list it all out, but it is there out there for you all to see. And I'm sure, Siddharth, you've noticed the health of the public sector banks in the last few years have considerably changed, that they don't even ask me for fund for recapitalizing them. Would you have heard of this? Consistently last 3 years, no money has been given for bank for recapitalization. Doesn't that itself indicate what is the health of Indian banks?
Do you think of this as your biggest achievement? What do you think of as your biggest achievement?
No, I don't.
In your time and
I don't spend my time on that.
So that's for the pundits to do. Anjana?
वित्त मंत्री जी, मेरे 2 सवाल हैं आपसे। आरबीआई की तरफ से तो जानकारी मांगी गई बैंकों को लेकर कि किसने कितना निवेश किया, लेकिन क्या सेबी वाकई इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही है अडानी ग्रुप की जो हिंडनबर्ग रिपोर्ट?
आरबीआई has asked बैंकों का जानकारी, ये आपको मालूम है?
ये हमें तो सूत्रों के हवाले से हमने खबर चलाई है और ये
सूत्रों के हवाले से, I don't want to.
दोनों जानकारी वित्त मंत्री जी आप बता दें, क्या सेबी इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही है? पहला प्रश्न है।
Haven't they given a statement already? कल या परसों उनकी तरफ से elaborately एक statement आया है।
दूसरा हिस्सा इसी प्रश्न का है कि हिंडनबर्ग की एक रिपोर्ट आती है, यूएस जस्टिस डिपार्टमेंट हिंडनबर्ग को वहाँ पे इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहा है, लेकिन ब्लड बात होता है यहाँ पे। 10 दिन में जो नंबर 2 पर थे अडानी साहब, वो टॉप 20 के बाहर हो जाते हैं। तो डेविल्स एडवोकेट प्ले करते हुए हमारे रेगुलेटर्स क्या कर रहे हैं? जब इतना गुना इजाफा उनके शेयर्स में हो रहा था, क्या कंपनी मैनेजमेंट से अकाउंटेबिलिटी उसकी पूछी गई? क्या बेहतर और पारदर्शी एक तरीका बन सकता है जिसकी वजह से ऐसा हमारा शेयर बाजार में हम परेशानी का सामना ना करें? क्या हमारे रेगुलर्स ज़्यादा प्रोएक्टिव हो सकते थे?
रेगुलेटर्स प्रोएक्टिव होना है कि नहीं होना है, वो भी एक प्रश्न मेरे मन में है, क्योंकि कॉन्फिडेंस मार्केट में बरकरार रहना है तो प्रोएक्टिव रहने में बरकरार रहेंगे या नहीं, वो भी एक प्रश्न है। अगर मान लीजिए, एक इस विषय में नहीं बोल रही हूँ, मान लीजिए एक रेगुलेटर बार बार बोलते हैं, oh my God, there is a risk in this company, that company is being investigated, this company is being, openly बोलते रह रहा है, वो मार्केट के लिए अच्छा है कि नहीं है? मैं प्रश्न पूछ रही हूँ, मेरा कुछ राय नहीं है इसमें। और दूसरा, अगर वो इन्वेस्टिगेट ही कर रहे हैं, खुलेआम कंक्लूजन के पहले ही बोलना अच्छा है, बाद में बोलना अच्छा है, ये सब भी उनके मन में रहता है, वो उनके अप्रोप्रिएट डिसीजन भी लेते हैं। इधर हम बैठ करके आज, क्योंकि एक विषय के ऊपर हम सब इतना इन्वॉल्व है और हमें जानकारी चाहिए, इसीलिए हमको वो थर्स्ट लग रही है कि क्यों नहीं आ रहा जल्दी। हम विषय इधर उठा सकते हैं, जवाब भी दे सकते हैं, मगर इट्स अप टू देम टू सी व्हेन इज द बेस्ट टाइम, क्योंकि वो भी मार्केट से संबंधित है कि आज बोलूं कि कल बोलूं, बोलने में क्या आउटपुट आएगा।
On the reverse side, ma'am, the likes of BJP leader Mahesh Jethmalani have seen a Chinese hand in this, because the Adani Group was a part of India's global economic diplomacy. They sense a larger conspiracy to try and trip the India story. Do you see purchase in that argument?
I won't engage in that argument.
You know, that's called an outswinging ball, which the finance minister just said, "Chhod do isko nahi chhuna." Yeah, Udayan, go on.
No. Mr. Sitharaman, there are some banks in the country which we call too big to fail. Adani is a very important player in the infrastructure space. Is it big enough to call too big to fail? Because, you know, there is a suggestion that because of the setbacks, it might set back our progress on many key infrastructure projects. Do you see that as a risk at all?
Well, any institution on the verge of failure or any institution in a high risk environment for an economy like India can cause its own impact. So I will not say this is more, that's less. I'll give you the lived experience of 2019, where literally I used to wonder tomorrow morning which is that NBFC which is going to be in difficulty, who's going to fall off the cliff. I used to have that fear. And at that time, if I had disclosed it, what good would it do? And even as we were going through this and making sure every precautionary steps were being taken, you had one S bank on which the Reserve Bank immediately came in, luckily came up with a solution to address it and so on. So every time if questions are posed saying, you think this is going to be dangerous, that's going, no, I will not know. My job will be to make sure the economy runs smoothly. Where I have to intervene, I'll have to intervene. And that's about it. I don't need to talk anything at all.
See that?
Nirmala ji, this was your fifth outing and a very crisp speech at that. I wonder if you would like to tell our audience what your own views are about how much can India's GDP grow. The reason I ask you, several decades ago we were, it was derogatorily said, Hindu rate of growth. And then we saw pretty decent growth. But in the medium to long term, what does the finance minister have to say about her own growth expectations? The economic survey gives us a number, but I would really be grateful if you could tell us what is the number that you would aspire for.
Very difficult to say, because I think at every stage, every finance minister must have faced challenges. But now, with at least two major problems yet not completely coming to a closure, the pandemic, in some parts of the world it's still alive, and the war, which doesn't seem to show any sign of coming to a conclusion, coming to an end. It's very difficult for me to take a risk and say, at this number I'll be comfortable, because I don't know what risks, again I'll have to, repeatedly last 3 budgets. How much ever effort we put and come up with a budget, you saw the way in which within a month something else would come and challenge us. Whether it was the Delta wave, whether it was Omicron, whether it was the Russia war. So there are very uncertain times, difficult to project a number.